And this comment right here, it really does show kind of the disconnect between myself, us as you guys that are supporters of me, my customers, and what it is that we're doing with ISOM one, what it is that we're doing with the Riververse, why the code of ethics is the way that it is, and what it is that we're attempting to do, and the disconnect between us and these detractors of mine and these very, very silly, goofy weirdos, if you will, that have spent the better part of the last 2 months just hating on me for no reason other than, hey, he's a guy that they see being supported by folks that they don't like. That's really what all this is about. But I'm going to show you guys a comment here, and it really shows how disconnected they actually are. And this is an opportunity for me to further explain that and update the resume. So this guy, if you follow me on Twitter, he's been in my mentions for a while now. He's the guy that was asking for my financials. But he says something interesting. Never mind this weird stuff where he's talking about I will call someone racist, calling out my use of racial. I don't know what he's talking about there. Brags about monetizing hate. That I do. I do monetize my haters. And he says uses alts, which I don't know what he's talking about with that. But this is the part right here that it shows that they don't really understand what it is that we're doing here. He says any AAA con that books him will face backlash from the LGBTQIA plus community and our allies. Radioactive dick is what he called me. So I guess it really puts a lot of power into my lower extremities. Didn't know that I had a radioactive one of those. Maybe I should go to the doctor and get that checked out. Nonetheless, this, and I did talk about this. This is very similar to what happened with Anime Matsuri, as well as Dallas Fan Expo, formerly known as Dallas Comic-Con. The two massive events. Anime Matsuri being one of I think it is, and the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, it's the second biggest anime event in the country that is held in North America, if I'm not mistaken. It's obviously not number one. Now, Dallas Comic-Con is obviously massive. Formerly Dallas Comic-Con, Dallas Fan Expo. So we were speaking there, myself, Gary, Nerderotic. They were the guys that actually, a lot of that initial conversation happened because of that. And of course, I was asked to speak there. I had my own booth at Anime Matsuri as well. I met a lot of you. That's where I saw the first two Yaira cosplays. Was at Anime Matsuri for you guys that saw that video. And I spoke there on a panel. We spoke on 2 panels. I can't remember. Was it 2 panels at Anime Matsuri or was it 2 panels at Dallas Fan Expo? I can't remember. They ran into each other. But either way, we did multiple at one, and we had a great turnout for both of those events. I'm pretty sure it was Anime Matsuri that we did two speaking engagements there. But it was an awesome time. Got to meet a lot of you guys, and that's what really kind of let me know how stoked people were for the Riververse. Now, those I would consider AAA cons for sure. But let's assume that the AAA cons did not want us there. Who cares? Right? Definitely with the Dallas Comic-Con, they loved us. We were in talks to have another event out of that from some other fan expos that the time just I couldn't make it happen, mainly because, and it didn't make sense for all of us if we couldn't do it. But we'll save that discussion for another day. But there's more stuff that's coming out of that, right, that we're going to be inevitably doing, because really the people that stood behind us, myself, Nick Ricada as well with Anime Matsuri, they know we draw. They know our lines are just massive in terms of people that were coming to see us and chat with us. We were at our booths. They saw the rooms that we're able to fill out. They don't care about any of that other stuff that people are talking about by some broke weirdos. And Nick Ricada made a great post about this here, where he says any convention should realize by now that literally nothing ever comes from the backlash of 25 broke people shrieking on Twitter. The fact that they ever bow to these morons is baffling, and he's right. But my thing is, on a more serious note, I don't care. So if they didn't want us there, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because the point is for us to be doing our own thing in the way that we want to do it. So whether they call themselves AAA or the establishment or the mainstream or whatever, I don't care. If they don't want me there, fine. That's not the end of the world for me. The whole point of what we're doing is the fact that we don't have to ask for any of that. See, a lot of these guys that do a lot of these guys that go to these Comic-Cons, they have to go there trying to make a little money off some autographs and stuff that they are gonna inevitably, and I'm not hating on people that charge for that type of stuff. You're welcome to make your money. But a lot of y'all ain't a draw. There's the one guy who's a comic pro that goes after me, found that out recently at San Diego Comic-Con. Ain't nobody coming to see you. You ain't got a draw like that. But nonetheless, I don't have to be there. Only reason I'd be at one of those events is because they asked me, right? They reached out to me and said, hey, you're a draw. We want you there. So if they don't want that, I don't care. That's precisely the point of what it is that we're doing. It's so that myself, my company, my business, and other people who are detached from the mainstream are able to have a direct line of sight with their audience no matter what. I'd rather start my own damn convention if that were the case. We can do Ripicon. You know what I'm saying? I get everybody in our corner to show up, get a booth, right? Well, obviously we talk about other comics, but we bring some of the other guys that are in the comic book space, have their own booths, they can chat, bring Gary, bring Neurotic, bring Nick Ricada, bring them all. We have our own damn convention. We can fill it out easy. I don't need y'all like that, right? It's like, it's a kid because it's the same group of people like, oh, well, so-and-so isn't covering you, so it doesn't feel legitimate, right? The retailers that we would go through, we don't see you in the Diamond previews. I'm not distributed by Diamond. That's why you wouldn't see me in the previews. If the comic book shops want to get it at obviously a discounted rate so they can sell it for retail, they can do that. They can reach out to us. But I'm not bending over backwards to try to save them or bend over backwards in a sense to try to do what everybody else is doing in the mainstream, right? So whether it be how they distribute, I don't care. Let them do it in that way. I am going to do it my way. I will do it in the way that I want. That's the point. And there are so many detractors that simply don't get that. And that's why they're so frustrated when these efforts that they've done to try to derail my business, try to derail other comic book creatives that are in our space, businesses. And it's been rather unsuccessful because we don't answer to you. So you can have that if you want. Oh, AAA, we're gonna come for you because I don't know why the LGBTQ ABCD groups would come after me or rather would go gripe, which apparently that guy has a monopoly on the entire alphabet, right? Because that's what he said. If we go to his chat here, remember. He says that he will face or that whatever. Like, okay, y'all go do whatever. I mean, all this that doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Y'all could do that if that's what's gonna make you happy. If you're gonna go to the people that are housing us at a con, and you're gonna try to harass them through that sock account that you use, okay. At the end of the day, if I really wanted to be at a con and I wanted my audience to have an opportunity to link up with me and even my detractors to come up and pull up and link up and chat, we can just do a con ourselves. Probably make more money off of it. Probably be more beneficial for those that are involved. And now that I've talked about it in this video, now I'm actually considering it. And y'all sure enough, considering our community that rocks with us, wouldn't want to come up there and try nothing goofy. So the point here is about the customers being able to have a direct line of sight with us. And we know because those middle folk ain't there, we have the middlemen that are basically cut out from this whole thing. I know there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of problems with how we do business and how we do things. And because they don't want that to catch on, And that to be maybe, all these different variations of how to do business in, let's say, in the publishing or comic book space, a lot of people gonna get left out. A lot of folk gonna get left out. And if that is to be the case, fine. I said many times, even if I am left out of this, on the other side of this, I didn't last, right? It's such a updated model. We have updated models, and maybe my model doesn't make sense and it doesn't work for me. I'm fine with that. Whatever upends what exists right now and is seen as legitimate, I'm okay with, because right now isn't working. The way they do things, the way publication works, the way that the comic book industry works makes no sense. The artists are the least beneficial of it. It's a lot of muddying up on like nobody actually knows how good these books are doing. You have the state being involved, and I ain't talking about no ESG stuff. I'm talking about with like libraries and taxpayer money going to pay for some of these books and all of that, and nobody actually knows how much book sells because the way that we do distribution. So Diamond has to report to this organization, be it Comicron or ICV2, and they're trying to sit up here and guess. Even if the comic book shop buys 100 copies of a certain book and they sell it, or rather they can't sell it, let's say they don't even sell half of it in 50 cents, it ends up in a 50-cent bin, it's considered a sale. None of that makes sense to me, and it's muddying up the numbers. So for me, I would much, much, much rather something be more decentralized and more beneficial for the customers, so that they can have that level of connection with the creative and the company, not all these middle folk involved. I don't answer to you. That's the point. So it does not hurt my feelings to even assume that, well, he can't, even though we've already done 2 this year. But if the AAA cons did not want me there, or rather they did want me there, and they will receive backlash, and let's assume they wanted to not have us there because of it, I don't care. Ultimately, we could make something else happen. The whole point is that we skip through all of this bull crap that y'all demand us go through. We're saying, screw that. We get to do what it is that we want.